climate and clean energy adoption. We always hear about it, but nobody talks about how challenging it is. So we've seen significant strides in renewable energy sources like wind and solar, but what about nuclear energy? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. I work at Nuclear Energy Institute, and my focus is on adoption of technologies. So, you see nuclear power. You've all seen this in Simpsons, right? So, they talk a lot about it, but what does it really mean? What's the nuclear part? Well, it's the red part that's there. How does nuclear energy work? Well, you have a reactor on the left, which takes in cold water, heats it up, turns it into steam, which turns your turbine, and which in turn generates electricity and sends it to your home so you can talk to Alexa all the time and have her listen to you. So let's talk a little bit about nuclear energy in the US. It was actually developed in the United States back in 40s and 50s as a potential method for powering your submarines and aircraft carriers, my former life. But since then, we've realized the potential for it in commercial sector and really helping us with baseload energy and environmental aspects. There are 98 reactors at 59 states in the United States. 98 reactors at 59 sites in 30 states in the United States. There is about 10% of all energy capacity in the US supplemented by nuclear energy. Well, that sounds great, 10% of capacity. What does that mean? Well, it generates 20% of the electricity in the US. It's more than all the other renewable sources combined. The rest is supplemented by natural gas, significant growth over the last several years, and coal. But nuclear is a big piece of the puzzle. So then you're gonna ask me, well, okay, that sounds great, but what about clean energy? How much is that? Well, nuclear accounts for 56% of all clean energy generated in the United States. This is important, especially for some states like Illinois, where 88% of their clean energy is generated by nuclear energy. That's significant when you think about it in a big picture scheme. So capacity factors, what do they mean? Well, capacity factors are the energy you generate versus the maximum you could have generated. Nuclear powers, when they go online, they go to 100%, stay there from 18 to 24 months and generate power for that long. It's hard to continue that or compare against it. So what about environmental attributes? Well, because it's clean, it avoids so much of carbon dioxide emissions, as much as 540 million metric tons. How much is that? Well, that's more than all the passenger cars in the US combined, driven for 1 year. That's significant. So let's talk a little bit about how electricity gets to your house. Well, once generated, the independent system operators, or ISOs, take that electricity, distribute it, transmit it to your home. Well, there are two types of ISOs, regulated and wholesale. Regulated are regulated by the states. Wholesale work on essentially free markets. So, hey, Econ 101. So, you have a demand curve, you have a supply curve. Based on the quantity you need, you pay some price for it. Well, what if that supply changes? Well, based on that, your quantity is gonna change and your new price is gonna come up. Well, this has a significant impact. So power plant owners bid into these markets to have their power sell. So the grid operator will say, hey guys, I need power in Washington, D.C. at 7:30 because I've got a bunch of AAAS fellows who need to go out drink. So how much do you need to be paid? Well, as a power plant operator or as a utility operator, I'm gonna look at all of my sources. Well, coal, I might need about $25 per megawatt hour. Natural gas, about 32. Nuclear, I run at 100%. I don't set prices. I take what's available. Wind, there's a lot of credits, and the credits allow me to bid negative into the market so that I pay you to take my electricity because I'm gonna get tax credit at the end of the day. So let's build a supply curve. You've got nuclear on the left. They don't actually generate the curve, but everyone else do get on the curve, so as you can see. So now let's put our demand curve on top of that. So based on that, you need some quantity and you pay some price for it. So people on the left are happy because they generate revenue. People on the right, not happy because they're not generating any money, right? So that's as simple as you can get. So where is the problem here? Well, the problem is, over the last several years, we've seen significant boom in hydraulic fracturing, and that's caused the power prices to go further down, and you can see over it right here. And that's caused a lot of the other electricity sources to be very stressed financially and are very hard to keep up with. So let's say because of that, you get rid of a nuclear power plant, and it actually causes the prices to go down. You can see the new price over here. But I want to take a scenario here. What if you actually take one of your nuclear power plants and shut them down because of whatever reasons may be? Well, your supply curves is going to start moving to the left, and you're going to reach a new price. That's economics, right? When you take a currently operating power plant, you take it offline, you're going to have to pay a lot more money to generate additional electricity, and that is where the issue is. So a lot of states recently have started noticing the issue here. Particularly, you've got New York, Illinois, Connecticut, and New Jersey who've taken actions to preserve their fleet, primarily because they want to have nuclear as a big piece of the puzzle when it comes to clean energy power generation. So not only that, but these plants have already been constructed. They generate power. There's significant economic value to it, so, which you can see over here. But most importantly, they take emissions off the road. So with that, I've talked about clean energy, and I haven't talked about a polar bear. So of course, I've got to put one over here. So thank you very much.